everyone, this is Annindita Palaus, and today's video is about a very commonly asked question that I often get asked during my Reiki workshops. And it is about whether Reiki is placebo or whether there is more to it. In fact, this is not just a question that my students in the Reiki workshops ask, but this question has been asked many times even by just regular people who have heard about Reiki but have never experienced Reiki, or even if they have experienced Reiki but they are still skeptical as to whether Reiki is really a science or is it just something completely made up in your mind. So, for those of you who don't know what placebo is basically based on the power of our mind. And for sure, I'm not going to discount the fact that every single thing that we experience in our life is created by us. So, placebo definitely works, whether it is Reiki or whether it is any other form of medicine. And it doesn't matter whether it is Eastern medicine, Western medicine, whether it is something natural or something like, surgical or allopathic, it really doesn't matter. As long as there's a belief system associated with the person who is treating you, that this person knows what he or she is doing, and you trust whatever they are doing, and you trust that whatever medications or whatever treatments that they are prescribing to you or suggesting or advising you is going to work for you for whatever reason. Maybe it is based on your personal experience, maybe it is based on great reviews that you might have read somewhere, or maybe a very close friend or family member experienced an amazing healing. It doesn't matter what the reason is. But if you have a belief system, if you believe that the medicine that you are taking is going to work for you, or if you believe that the person who is treating you knows what he or she is doing and they are going to help you and they know what they're doing, they know about your problem, and they are doing whatever is the best for you. If you have that kind of a belief, then for sure, whatever treatment that it is you are undergoing is going to work way better than you receiving treatment or medication or whatever it is and not really believing in it. If you believe that whatever ailment that you have, whatever problem that you have, is not possible to solve, it is unsolvable, it's uncurable, then no matter what kind of medicines you get or no matter what kind of treatments you get, it doesn't matter whether it is natural or otherwise, is going to be hard for you to heal completely. I'm not saying that you will not heal at all, but the healing definitely would be impacted. Your level of healing is going to be impacted by your belief system. So that is placebo. It is the power of your belief. When you believe something is going to work for you, then it does. And the opposite of placebo is also true. It is called nocebo. And that is when you believe that it's not going to work for you and it actually doesn't. So placebo and nocebo, they have actually been medically seen. There have been experiments conducted which has proved that placebo effect actually exists. And in fact, there was a very interesting experiment that was conducted by Dr. Bruce Mosley at the Baylor College of Medicine, and it was about the placebo effect. And they studied about 180 patients who had knee pain, and they divided the group in three random equal size groups, and they did three different procedures on these three groups. On one of them, they only surgically removed the worn out ligaments. In the second group, they flushed out the bad cartilage. And the third group was a placebo group, which only received a simulated surgery, which means that they were taken to a surgery room just like all other regular patients. And of course, the lower part of their body was covered, and there was a screen in front where they were able to see what is going on with their knees. And below the waist, they had anesthesia, so they couldn't feel anything. But the doctors actually did make an incision in the knees, just so when the patient recovers, they are able to see that there was actually something done. And on the screen, they were showing a surgery happening, which was just a recording of somebody else's surgery, but not theirs. But the patients were made to believe that a surgery actually took place. And then later on, they compared the results, and the doctors were surprised to see that the people who actually underwent the surgery and the people who only underwent the placebo surgery had very similar recovery rates. Their knee pain was also gone. They believed that they had a surgery which was successful and they had the same healing effects as if they got the surgery actually done. So, for sure, I'm not challenging that placebo doesn't exist. I definitely believe in placebo, and I do believe that there is an element of placebo involved in Reiki as well. And whether it is Reiki, whether it is any other form of healing, this is just my personal opinion that as long as there is human consciousness involved, and our thoughts and our belief systems are involved, which is true for adults, that we all have a certain belief system. As long as that is involved, there is that element of belief always there, and that is going to have an impact on your healing. But that being said, the question is that whether Reiki is only placebo or is there something more to it? And for sure, I wouldn't be teaching Reiki workshops if it would be only placebo. And Reiki or any other forms of healing modalities wouldn't be this famous if it would be just placebo. The reason why I'm saying that Reiki is not only placebo is because it works even on animals. Animals don't have the kind of imagination that we humans do. Animals don't have belief system like humans do. It also works on infants. Again, the same thing. With infants also, they don't have a belief system. They don't have that kind of imagination that adults do. They are not thinking that, oh, this doctor is just too young, maybe this doctor doesn't know what he is doing. Or, oh, these medications, I don't think they're going to work because it didn't work for my friend. So, kids, infants, they don't have this kind of a belief system. Same with plants. Plants also don't have any belief systems. And Reiki has been time and again proven to work on infants, animals, and plants as well as, of course, regular adults. And that proves that if it is working on things which doesn't have a belief system, then it cannot be just placebo. There has to be something more than that. And there are, of course, numerous experiments that have been done, and many of these experiments have been even published in scientific journals as well. And I will be, in fact, providing the link to some of these experiments in the description below this video. Feel free to check it out. And one very interesting experiment, in fact, is by a Californian doctor named Daniel Wirth, who conducted an experiment on 44 students. And these students were told that this experiment is being done to test the effectiveness of a new camera, a Kirlian camera. For those of you who don't know what a Kirlian camera is, it's a camera that detects energy. And so the students were told that this brand new Kirlian camera is being tested to see, the energy field around a person's body. And each of these students were given a 8 millimeter wide skin deep wound, and on the forearm, at the same place, exactly same place. And the reason for that was that whenever there is a wound, there is more energy in that area for the healing, and so the camera will be able to detect that energy better. And they just wanted to experiment and see how that energy is flowing. And these students, they didn't know what the experiment was actually about. And they were asked every day. There were two different batches. One was the morning group, another was the afternoon group. And one of these groups was the placebo group. And they were asked to go to an empty building where in one of the batches there was an energy healer who was working with the group. But the group was not aware of that. In both the batches, the person would just go sit in a completely empty room for 5 minutes, and they were asked to put their arm through a hole in the wall. And the hole was nicely covered. It was not visible what is happening on the other side of the wall. For one of the groups on the other side of the wall, there was nobody. So they were just putting their hand through it, and they were told that in the other room there's a camera that is recording the energy around the wound. That's what the students expected. That's what all the 44 students expected. But half of the students, they were going for their sessions when on the other side of the room there was actually an energy healer, and she was working on their arm for 5 minutes. And they continued doing this for 16 days straight. And at the end of the 16 days, they noticed that the group that was receiving the energy healing for 16 days, 13 out of 22 of them had completely closed wounds, and the remaining were well on their way to healing. On the contrary, the other group who were not receiving any treatments, there were 0 people out of 22 who were completely healed, and nobody was even close to being completely healed. So their wounds were far from being completely closed. So that clearly proves that Reiki is not just placebo. There is something much more than placebo to energy healing or Reiki. And it's not just Reiki, any other form of energy healing modality as well. For sure, when you're working with somebody and that person already believes in Reiki a lot, or they really believe in the person that they are working with, that is going to have an impact and that cannot be removed. But is Reiki just placebo? I don't think so. And in fact, if you don't believe it, then you can do your own little experiment at home. You can have some seeds, any kind of plants, whatever it is that you want, and place them in two different pots and have them have the same amount of sunlight, water, everything. But start doing Reiki on only one of the pots and see how, just, see over a period of 16 days or 30 days, how the plants are growing, how those seeds are sprouting. And I'm pretty sure that if you do this experiment, you will find out for yourself whether Reiki is only placebo or there is something more to it. If Reiki is something that you are really interested in, then I highly suggest that you check out my link in the description below. I have been teaching Reiki workshops for over a decade now, and lately I've been teaching a lot of online webinars. I also have home study program. You can find the details in the link below. And I have plenty more videos on Reiki under my Reiki playlist. So you can check out all those videos right here. And if you like this video, then like it, leave your comment, especially if you do this experiment, then let me know how it went. And share it with your friends and family. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.